Hey guys, welcome to Life from Mars. This is Marissa. Today we are going to be talking about a super interesting topic, something that impacts our entire world, our entire society, and us individuals constantly. Today we're going to talk about time. Or at least the piece of quantum mechanics that we've conceptualized as time. So, it's about to get real. Time is absolutely crazy. And when I say that it's crazy, I mean that it doesn't really exist at all, and definitely not in the way that we perceive it to exist. This is going to be a really interesting video. I basically just want to talk to you guys a little bit about the way time actually works, about how time actually interacts with us and the universe, because I feel like understanding the true reality of time can help you make decisions in your life, help you be more present in the moment, and also help you get through some of the hardships that you face in life. Understanding time is seriously a superpower. So a good way to start to understand the way time works is to understand that all we really have is the present moment, is right now. I remember thinking once that we spend so much of our lives just waiting for future things to happen, just anticipating future moments. And every moment we are crafting our past, and it's stored basically in this vault in our mind, right, called our memories. As I'm sure you can imagine, if you didn't have memory, if you didn't have that vault in your brain to sort of categorize things as your past, you would not have the same perception of time. And understanding that and imagining that a life without memories is sort of getting closer to the way time actually does exist and function in the universe. If you did not have memories, you would not perceive time to be a progressive sequence of events. Rather, you would perceive time to be one big event, and there would be no past, there would be no future, there really would only be now. One great, all-encompassing moment that has everything that has or will ever happen to you, including what's happening right now. So without making it too complicated, I'm going to try to break down some of the concepts around time. Even for physicists, some of the smartest people in the entire world, time is an extremely difficult concept to explain or conceptualize. You see, time exists as part of the time-space continuum. Time and space seem to be irrevocably connected and intertwined. It has been suggested that time may exist as its own dimension, but this has been argued by many people. This mainly is due to the fact that time and space do seem to have some distinct differences that make question whether they are so connected. We choose where we move through space, but we cannot choose whether we move through time. Time seems to be something else entirely. There are also so many other things that are incredible about time. For example, did you know that time is experienced differently by every single person, even people who are experiencing the same moment or watching the same thing? This means that time is either shorter or longer depending on your relative position in space. This is called relativity. There is no universal measure of time, contrary to what we are socialized to understand. Time is always different for every single person. Your time is relative to your place in space. Also, speed and direction have a significant impact on time. As you begin to approach speed of light and move faster and faster, time begins to slow. A ship traveling close to the speed of light would appear to be moving in slow motion. And theoretically, if you were able to reach the speed of light, time would stop completely. So that's already a little bit crazy, but it honestly just gets crazier. So this is where we start talking about dimensions. And I'm not gonna lie, this is where it starts to get a little bit abstract, but just try to stick with me, okay? I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible for you guys to understand. It's really, really interesting stuff. So basically, we have multiple dimensions of space-time. We currently live in a three-dimensional reality. That is, we experience reality and matter and energy in 3 dimensions. That being said, there are multiple other dimensions that exist simultaneously on top of our own within the very fabric of our universe, of our world, that we cannot perceive. Many scientists believe that there could be upwards of 11 different dimensions. So, what are dimensions? What is the difference? What does that even mean? So basically, if we're in the third dimension, let's just try to go up one more to the fourth dimension. What would fourth dimensional reality be like? So some of you guys may have seen movies where they briefly talk about the fourth dimension. Namely, one of my favorite movies that talks about this is Interstellar. So if you want to get a bigger grasp on what the fourth dimension potentially could be like, Interstellar is a great film to watch. That being said, we're talking about time. I'm not going to go into all the details of the different differences between dimensions, but one of the biggest, by far, differences between dimensions is the way time functions and is perceived. The best way to understand this is in this way. So we are right here in the third dimension. Now, imagine a dot where you are born. You are born and then you start experiencing a string of moments. You're a child, you're a teenager, you're an adult, you might, have a family of your own, have a whole career, whatever it may be. And then you draw a straight line through all of those events till you get to another dot where you ultimately die. Obviously, this is how we perceive time. We perceive time to be a series of moments that has a distinct beginning and end. In that, we perceive time to be linear. However, in the fourth dimension, that does not exist. Instead of having two dots and a straight line connecting your death and birth, there would only be one dot. So, what does that actually mean? That means that you were always dying, that you were always being born, and that every single thing that has ever happened to you, will ever happen to you, and is happening to you is happening all at once. And not just that, but actually everything that has ever happened to any person and anything in the entire universe in this specific timeline. I hope you guys get that, but basically, instead of things being in an orderly fashion from beginning to end, there is no beginning, there is no end, there is only the beginning and the end together encompassing everything. So that's just a glimpse in how it starts to get complicated when you enter different dimensions. Let's just go up to the fifth dimension. What is that like? If you already have every single event that has occurred in our timeline, in our universe, comprising one single moment, one single dot, what could the fifth dimension possibly be like? So the fifth dimension is pretty similar. The fifth dimension is every possible timeline. Instead of everything that has, will, or is happening to you, or anything ever in our universe, it's more like everything that could possibly happen to anyone or anything in our universe. So this is where you get into the idea of parallel universes and the multiverse, and this is just where it starts getting really complicated, because not only are we talking about the timeline of our universe, but every possible timeline that our universe could have gone on. And I'm talking every single possible timeline. And of course, all encompassed in one single dot that is the great now. What could the sixth dimension possibly be? It just gets more complicated. The sixth dimension is every possible timeline for every possible universe. So it's pretty unfathomable, actually kind of insane, but that is the way time actually works. And I don't know, I have found it to be really actually very comforting, because it means that everything that you have experienced, you are always experiencing. And everything that you will experience, you have already experienced. So every difficult moment in your life, you've already been through it and you've already overcome it. And every beautiful moment in your life, the best moment of your life, you are always experiencing. And although we don't perceive it that way, it really is that way. In any moment, you can access that beautiful energy. And the dimensions just get more complicated as you move on up, but we won't bother to go in that. So basically, what does this tell us? Essentially, it tells us that there is no past, there is no future, but only the great present. Even Einstein himself once said, The separation between past, present, and future is only an illusion, although a convincing one. What is the true difference between past, present, and future? Do we perhaps on some subconscious level perceive these higher dimensions and know our own future? Can this help explain things like psychic abilities and people who can actually see the future? Studies recently done on humans found that our brains react to things a full 10 seconds before they actually happen. A complete 10 seconds before we experience something, our brain already knows it's gonna happen. Is this just intuition? Or is this us glimpsing into higher dimensions? There could be some very big questions that we really have to start to ask ourselves about the way time actually exists. This just leads me to more questions about time, our role in it, and how we can use it to live our lives. What is really happening in our universe? In the present, there is infinite manifesting potential and energy. As humans, I think it is so important that we make a conscious effort to not be bound by what has happened in our past and also by worries of what will happen in the future. There is such incredible liberation to be found in understanding time. You have all the time in the universe and at the same time, no time at all. Anything can be achieved in this present moment. You are choosing what timeline you are going to exist in. If there is anything that we can actually be sure of, it is the present. To be truly in the present moment is to know eternity. You can use this knowledge of truly understanding time to shape your present moment, to change the way that you live and experience your life. I find it so incredibly comforting to know that any hardship I will ever face, I have already overcome. I already found that strength. The most beautiful moment that I will ever experience in my life is always happening to me, and I always have access to that beautiful energy. You can always access beautiful memories, and they are not just memories. They are still existing as energy in the present moment. And you can look fondly to the future, knowing that you are already that person. You are not becoming some greater version of yourself. You have always been that person, and you will always be who you were before. Your entire life is encompassed in the beautiful, great now. One of my absolute favorite spiritual gurus and philosophers, Deepak Chopra, said it best. He said, "The present moment dies every moment to become the past, is reborn every moment to become the future. All experience is now. Now never ends. Now is our entire life. Now is the entirety of the universe. And time may be something that we use to help us get through our system, but it does not control us. We are not defined by our past or by our future. We are only a compilation of every single thing we have ever experienced in the present moment. And the present moment offers infinite energy to access and experience for a beautiful, fulfilling experience of space and time." Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video talking about time. It's one of my most favorite topics to talk about. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Don't forget to live in the present moment. Take a step back and find yourself centered. Enjoy the present for all that it is, because it's really all that we have. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Thank you.
You are always living for somewhere where you aren't. And while, as I said, it is of tremendous use for us to be able to look ahead in this way, there is no use planning for a future, which when you get to it and it becomes a present, you won't be there. You'll be living in some other future which hasn't yet arrived. And so in this way, one is never able actually to inherit and enjoy the fruits of one's action. You can't live at all unless you can live fully now.